Hello chess fans, welcome to the Craig Marr Chess Channel. Today we're going to bring you another edition of Mastery of the Middle Game, Part 3. Now I'm very sad that the last time I gave my video on is the knight equal to the rook, I kind of ran out of time and wasn't able to complete the game Flynn Penoyer versus myself. So in today's video I'd like to have a further discussion about whether, is a knight can be worth more than a rook. And then I'd like to show you the end of that game so you can kind of see better what's happening. So, can a knight be worth more than a rook? And this is a question that I posed for you guys in the last video. Let's have a look here. Notice that if it's white's move, the knight is a powerful piece in this position. Check. King moves to the corner. Checkmate. Another very powerful move by the white knight could be also something like this. And again, black is in super trouble and cannot prevent mate in two moves. Let's kind of look at what would happen instead if we had a rook. Notice that we put the rook here, nothing happens. Black is perfectly safe. Let's see what happens if we put the rook here. Well, again, nothing happens and black is perfectly safe. So, to answer the question of whether a knight can be worth more than a rook, the answer is yes. And we will watch out for those special positions where a knight can be not only equal to a rook, it can be worth more than a rook. Anyway, we did not finish last week's game, and I'm really dying to show the rest of that game to you guys. So let us finish up last week's game between Flynn Penoyer, who had white, and then myself, who had black. Let's kind of briefly go over the opening of this game. Mr. Penoyer, who's rated 1991, opened up with d4, and then I played the most common response, knight f6. Now this move, I like it because it's so flexible. Black can go into a King's Indian with g6, black can go into a Queen's Indian with b6, and black can go into a Nimzo Indian with e6, and even go maybe transpose into a Queen's Gambit declined or a Benoni. So that's why knight f6 is considered the most flexible response to 1d4. Surprise, surprise, bishop g5. Now the normal move, you can either play knight f3 here or c4. Those are the most common moves for black. I mean for white, excuse me. But this move kind of took me, you know, a little bit by surprise. But anyway, I responded with a, you know, what's considered one of the better moves, knight e4. And now bishop h4. Now here I played g5, and you know, you might be thinking, well, that's wild. I shouldn't be, you know, kind of disrupting my king side, and now what happens if, you know, I want a castle over there? My God, what a move, you know. But the fact is, guys, that in a lot of positions, you can kind of go out of your way in order to win the two bishops. And, you know, black has made some sort of weakening moves in order to do that. Now, here, he played f3, but I just wanted to show you guys what would happen if he had played the more natural bishop g3. I was intending to go h5, and now due to the threat of h4, let's say he goes here. Well, that is not very good, and this is what I was hoping for, because now I capture the bishop, he captures back, and then I might play, you know, a move like g4, and you can see that white's game is a mess, because he's got this big weakness which I can attack with, you know, either the bishop or the queen, and then he's got problems with his development. Can't get the bishop out, can't get the knight out. So this would be practically close to a winning position for black. So that is not good for white. So he played a much better move, and I think the move that he played is actually the main line of this kind of rare variation. He played f3, and so I have to capture, and then white must capture. And now we're going to pause for a few seconds, and you're going to figure out what should black do here in this kind of brand new position. Okay, black should be attacking the dark squares. That's what black should be doing. So c5 to get the queen out. e3 to bolster up the dark squares. Bishop h6 to attack this weak pawn. Queen d3 is good. And now queen b6. Notice how black is playing very aggressively, very sharp play by both sides. And this is super sharp. Knight c3, coming into the very dangerous and powerful d5 square, which pretty much attacks everything. Now, black must be very careful, you know, because the knight is so powerful on this square. Maybe the more prudent move is to just, you know, play e6 and avoid any big trouble from the knight landing on that square. But I decided that I was just going to completely throw caution to the wind here. And so this is just very, very dangerous, but very sharp. And I like sharp, you know, I like sharpness. Now the idea behind this sacrifice is queen takes bishop, pawn takes pawn, and then, you know, I'm going to get that pawn, I'm going to get the knight back and be up, have an extra pawn. So that's the idea behind this sacrifice. But now this is very strong, so I have to take. Now I've got real problems now because this is attacked and that's coming. So I decided to play so-called brilliantly with this. Woo! Sacking an entire rook. That's what it appears to be, but it's not quite like that because I'm going to get that knight back. It's going to be in the corner. I'm going to retire the knight, and then I'm going to have all kinds of play, which we call compensation for the rest of the game. That's forced. And now my opponent was very happy, but maybe perhaps did not deserve to be after taking the rook. Okay, so I checked him so that his king has to go to a funny square. And then this is where we left off the last time. So let's kind of go through all the compensation. Threat. Bishop a6 is a threat. So he moves away. King f3. And now I decided, well, might as well get that knight back. So the knight is... Now I expected him to try to get out by sacrificing the knight for the pawn. And then black has, you know, a lot of play here. And this is what we call compensation. Now you're probably wondering, well, how did I feel at this point? I felt pretty good, you know. Did I see all this? No, I didn't really. But as you can see, black has a pretty good game. f5 might be a threat. This pawn is now excellently placed to restrict the king's movement. I think black actually has a pretty good game here. Now this is a lemon. I don't think he should have done this. The reason this is such a lemon is because now we got more threats. This is a big threat now. Queen h5. So white is kind of helping me along. You know, I got to admit that. He didn't probably play the best defense. Nevertheless, black has all kinds of compensation. You know, this whole king side is is asleep. These pieces are not developed. You know, in fact, all these guys are the queen. The queen is the only major piece that's developed. So, you know, I've got this one in play, I've got this one in play, this is hecka powerful, this piece, because I've got f5 coming, I've got queen check coming, so he's really in super trouble. If he tries to retreat the king back to here, bishop a6 is going to win by pin, and then you know, if he tries to develop the bishop, well, this is queen check is practically mate, and then he has to play g4, and then I would take on passant, and then see, then my rook would enter the fray, and it'd just be murder. Murder, she wrote. That's what would happen. So this guy, my opponent, played g4, and then I want you to think about the next move, which is a killer, and after which he resigned. And the move is drumbeat, dun, da, 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 f5, and at this point he resigned, and because I've just got too many threats here. But anyway, so long everyone, and thanks for watching.